Hey everyone, it's Ashley Bernardi. I am founder and director of media relations for Nardi Media. Thank you so much for joining me again for another episode of Crisis Communications, where we interview influential leaders and thought leaders about how they're handling this massive change in the world right now and uncertainty with the coronavirus. My guest today, I am so excited about. She's Michele Sullivan, author of the amazing new book, Looking Up, How a Different Perspective Turns Obstacles into Advantages. Michele, thank you so much for joining me today.
Great, thank you so much. This is quite the privilege.
Yes, okay, so let's dive in. Before we get into it, can you just tell our audience just a little bit about yourself, your background, and who you are?
Sure, so Michele Sullivan, and quite a few decades ago, I was born with a very rare type of dwarfism. So I stand about 4 feet tall. And in today's world, you know, a lot of things are measured by how they look, and people are no different. But I've been given a great education and opportunities at Caterpillar, and I was recently the president of the Caterpillar Foundation. And I retired about a year ago after 30 years at Caterpillar. And my book, Looking Up, came out in February. And it's all about our ability to figuratively look up to people. As I literally look up to everyone, being 4 feet tall, it taught me to figuratively look up to everyone. And we can leave ourselves open to so much more when we really look up to people and see their value. We learn more. We lead better, we enable more, and think about the experience that we have when we look up and really take the value that other people have and really share it. And we also love more, and we need that in today's world.
Gosh, don't we ever. And for anyone who hasn't checked out Michele's book yet, I highly, highly recommend it, especially right now in the age that we're living in. So Michele, let's talk a little bit about how you're doing right now. I want to know, just check in with you, and with all this change that has taken place in the past couple of weeks, and now we're all at home, and you know, I've gone through a range of emotions of grief and sadness and despair, yet hope. How are you doing right now amongst all this change and uncertainty?
You know, I've gone through all the things that you said, and I'm a very outgoing social person, so for me not to be around people, it has been a challenge. But, you know, I have to say that I see a lot of good coming out of this. And I always, you know, if you look at StrengthsFinders 34, it talks about 34 people's greatest strengths. And my top strength is positivity. And so while I'm challenged that I can't actually see people like I used to or be around them, there's other ways to make that happen. And at the end of the day, it is making everybody slow down a little bit, because we were in a rat race. I think everybody would admit that we were just running through life. Yeah. And I feel like now I am reflecting a lot more than I ever have. And I'm also appreciating the relationships more that I have and taking the time. I think I've had more deep conversations in the past 3 weeks than probably the last 3 years in terms of, you know, what is going on in the world, what's going on with us. But by the same time, because we're not only protecting ourselves by social distancing, we're lessening and slowing the spread of the virus so that others, especially those with higher risk factors, are not exposed unnecessarily. So I do feel like there's a lot of good going on there. And I also, when you see, how many people do you see calling or asking, do you need anything? I'll be going out. I'll get you whatever you need. Yep. Or I'll help you in any way. And you see children doing things, you know, to help people. It's amazing what's going on. And to be honest, to be kind of funny, we don't have a lot of politics now.
It's so
it knocked
true.
That right off, it knocked that right off the map, didn't it? And so,
yeah, like what election, right? Like what November election? No one's talking about it.
Yeah, I know. We're not even thinking that. And, you know, it really is bringing us back to what's most important, and that's all of us. Mm-hmm. You know, we're all God's children. Mm-hmm. And we should always be thinking of people like this. And we have to find a new line of sight. obviously this is a crazy time, but now people are getting those old board games out of the closet and playing. You're baking cookies. You're doing things that now you're saying, why haven't we done this before? You're finding that new line of sight, and you're also seeing your village. Look how we're all coming together, and we're acting as one because we have to. All of our lives depend on this. And then I think when you look at people, you have children at home.
Yeah.
Tell me how much more appreciative you are of teachers. I mean, they should get hazard pay along with all the nurses and the people at the stores. We are going to be so appreciative, as we should be, of all these people who help us, the healthcare workers, the people delivering our packages and touching everything, the people ringing up our groceries, putting their life on the line for us, and our teachers who help, our young people. That's our future. Look how much more appreciative we are. I think it's totally changed our perspective. And looking up is the epitome of that.
It really is. And I love that you're bringing up being appreciative, showing gratitude for all of these folks, especially for teachers. And I can say that as a mom to 3 very young children right now. And now I'm suddenly a business owner and a preschool teacher, a first grade teacher, and fourth grade teacher. It's just so I want to hear about
and
this.
Look at the nurses.
Yeah, and the nurses too. It's so true. And I write, and I don't know if you do this. I every day write. I have a gratitude list, and I write something that I'm grateful for every day. And even in the midst of all of this, I can still find so many things that I'm grateful for right now. And that's something that I would encourage anyone to do.
Yes, you have to. You have to look up whatever works for you that makes you do that. I do that. I also read a verse every day when I get up. And you're gonna laugh, but I love like perfumes and essential oils that I like when it smells good. It just brightens my day. And then I like funny things. I watch the old shows that we grew up with on TV Land.
You're such kindred spirits, Michele. Okay, so you talked a little about this, but I want to dive in more. Tell me about your role of faith and how important faith is helping you through this crisis. It certainly is helping me, my faith, but I want to hear about how your faith is playing a role in your life right now.
Oh, my faith is at the foundation of my whole life. And it is every day. It has an impact on me, but especially in times like this, because this is a scary time. We've never experienced anything like this. And I think that we all have to dig down deep, however you do that. For me, it's my faith. I wake up and I say a prayer. Thank you for letting me wake up and having a good day. And I pray before I go to sleep. And during the day, I'm always saying a prayer or talking to God. I'm a chit-chatty person, if you ever noticed. So for me, our faith is what we have to lean on. If I didn't have that and know that, that we all have this, but God has this as well. However, it turns out for me personally, I know that it's going to be okay either way. And so for me, that's why I'm positive, because, I know that we have this. Things are going to get better. It's just a matter of when. And, my faith is what holds me together. If I didn't have hope, then I would be in trouble. And my faith gives me that hope. There's no question for me.
I love that so much. And it's such beautiful advice. Okay, so Michele, tell us this. How can we at home right now, where everyone is going through all sorts of emotions, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual stress, you name it, how can we be looking up right now in a time of adversity? You mentioned faith, but I'm curious if you have other pieces of advice on how we can be looking up when the world seems so down right now.
I think gratitude is a big piece of everything. Granted, our life has absolutely been turned upside down in every way. But think about the people who have lost their jobs and they're wondering where their next paycheck's going to come from so they can get food. People who are sick or have been diagnosed with something very bad, in addition to living in the COVID-19 environment we're in. And for me, gratitude plays a big role. And I think part of that's my faith, but I also think because of everything I've seen working with the Caterpillar Foundation and working with people in extreme poverty around the world, I don't have anything to complain about. And so gratitude is a big piece. The other thing, and I talk a lot about this in my book, is who is in your kitchen table and in your village. Don't be afraid to reach out if you're struggling in some way, because we all need help from time to time. And even, like if your children are really super active today and you have a busy day, it's quite a challenging day for you. And, don't ever be afraid to ask for help, because we all need that from time to time, both emotionally, physically, and spiritually. There's really three types of parts to us. And all three of those are being challenged today all at once, in addition to, what if you get the virus, right?
Yeah.
So, but we are doing what we're supposed to by social distancing. We have gratitude. You also have to step back and take moments for yourself, even no matter what's happening. And then also, don't ever be afraid to reach out and say, I need you, or I need help, I need something. Because we all are going through that in a day. And you may have 10 different things that you need help with in a day. And look at all the people on Facebook or texting you or calling you saying, is there anything you need? I'm here for you. How often do we do that? And now it's happening all the time. And I think that's a great thing. So always look up, because your perspective is key. You have to know and have hope that we're going to get through this. And we are going to get through this. And working with people in extreme poverty around the world, I don't have anything to complain about. And so gratitude is a big piece. The other thing, and I talk a lot about this in my book, is who is in your kitchen table and in your village. Don't be afraid to reach out if you're struggling in some way, because we all need help from time to time. And even, like if your children are really super active today and you have a busy day, it's quite a challenging day for you. And, don't ever be afraid to ask for help, because we all need that from time to time, both emotionally, physically, and spiritually. There's really three types of parts to us. And all three of those are being challenged today all at once, in addition to, what if you get the virus, right?
Yeah.
So, but we are doing what we're supposed to by social distancing. We have gratitude. You also have to step back and take moments for yourself, even no matter what's happening. And then also, don't ever be afraid to reach out and say, I need you, or I need help, I need something. Because we all are going through that in a day. And you may have 10 different things that you need help with in a day. And look at all the people on Facebook or texting you or calling you saying, is there anything you need? I'm here for you. How often do we do that? And now it's happening all the time. And I think that's a great thing. So always look up, because your perspective is key. You have to know and have hope that we're going to get through this. And we are going to get through this. And then do something that really brings you up. For instance, I watch, the funny shows or read funny things. Humor gets me through almost everything for me. And then also, like I said, here I am sitting in sweats and an old T-shirt that has holes in it. And I made sure I put my perfume on this morning, because I smell that all day long. I know, it's funny, isn't it? When I was 13, I had these major hip surgeries, and I was in a body cast all summer. I couldn't even sit up. And, when people came to visit, they always felt like they needed to bring something for some reason. Well, for a girl, they always bought perfume. And you know what? It got me hooked on it, because the smell just brought a smile to my face too. So we all have those little things that we do, you know, personally that only you know about.
Yep.
And what is that? And make sure you do it.
Yep.
Some people, it's a glass of wine.
Well, for me, I will admit, right now, it's definitely a glass of wine amongst some other things.
Yep. And you know what? I'm going to have one this afternoon myself. So, but, you know, and then also, you know, FaceTime a friend and sit and have happy hour together, except you have it on your phone. So we are not in this alone. That's the point. All these examples I gave, you are not alone. But you have to make the first move. And that's a chapter in my book is don't be afraid to make that first move, to reach out, not only for yourself, but to make sure that somebody doesn't need something that you can help with. Remember, it works both ways. So make the first move for yourself, but also make the first move to help someone.
Oh, such amazing advice for us to be looking up in this time, Michele. Thank you so much. Tell our listeners, where can we find more information about you and your book, Looking Up?
Sure, thank you. If you go to lookingup.com, the book is there, and it also talks about me and my social impact work and my speaking, etc. And it gives you more background into, you know, who I am.
Amazing.
But keep looking up. Don't always look up. The view is great.
Oh, Michele, well, you have made my day brighter just by listening to your interview and having you give so much advice, amazing advice. And I know you're going to help so many of our listeners as well. So thank you so, so much. I promise you, I'm going to keep looking up, and everyone who's listening to Crisis Comms, so you have some great advice today on how you can look up during this time. Michele Sullivan, thank you so much for joining me today.